You look out at your garden, calm and still. The plants barely stir in the gentle breeze. It all looks so peaceful, so completely at rest. But that stillness is a great illusion. Right beneath your feet, a hidden world is wide awake. Down in the dark soil, the roots never rest, searching, drinking, holding, even quietly talking to each other. It is a vast, living world you have never seen, far stranger and busier than you could ever guess. The garden above ground is only half the story. The other half lies hidden below, doing the real work. Today, you'll see what your roots are truly doing, and you'll never see a still garden the same way again. Welcome back to What the Garden Knows, where your yard has been speaking and we finally learned to listen. Let's begin with the sheer size of what is hidden below. When you look at any plant in your garden, you are really only ever seeing half of it. The leaves and the flowers are simply the part above the ground, but beneath the surface lies a whole second plant made of roots. And that hidden lower half is very often far larger than the leafy part you can actually see. Picture a single small plant standing quietly in your garden bed. Below it spreads a vast, tangled web of roots, reaching down deep and out in every direction. For a great many plants, the roots below mirror the branches above, almost like a perfect reflection. What rises into the air is matched by what dives into the earth. But the true full scale of it can be almost completely impossible to truly believe. Scientists once carefully grew a single grass plant and watched its roots. Then they measured every single thread, end to end. Laid out in one line, those roots stretched for hundreds of miles. Hundreds of miles of root from one ordinary little plant.
And almost all of it was finer than a single human hair, each one a tiny living thread reaching out into the dark soil in search of life. So beneath your lawn lies a hidden network of staggering size, a dense, tangled forest of roots, all woven through the dark. It is the secret foundation that every plant is quietly built upon. Most of your garden, in truth, is the hidden part that you will simply never see. And that hidden half is where nearly all the real work happens. But the true wonder isn't the size of it, it's what those roots actually do. Because down there, they are far busier and cleverer than you'd think. If your garden surprises you more each day, tell me in the comments. And consider subscribing, because this hidden world is just opening up. Here's the second secret, and it changes how you see a root forever. We often imagine roots as something passive, just sitting quietly and still down in the ground. But roots are not passive at all. They actively search and explore. A single root tip is honestly one of the busiest, cleverest parts of the entire plant. As it slowly grows, it is constantly probing and testing the soil all around it. It is hunting for two things above all else: water and food. And quite remarkably, a root can actually sense where the hidden water is waiting in the soil. It can feel the faint dampness in the soil from a distance. And then it gently bends itself and grows directly toward that hidden patch of moisture. It does the very same thing in its search for nutrients. Where the soil is rich, the roots crowd in and branch out thickly. And where the soil is poor and empty, they thin out and push onward, still searching. When a root meets a hard rock, it doesn't simply give up.
It feels its way carefully around the stone and finds another path. It seeks out the tiniest cracks and slips quietly through them. In a way, the whole root system is patiently foraging underground, like a slow, blind animal feeling its way through the dark earth, always reaching outward, always testing the soil, always searching patiently for more. Your roots are not waiting in the soil, they are exploring it. The third secret is the enormous, endless work of drinking. Every single plant in your garden is incredibly thirsty. Far, far thirstier than you might ever know, and it is the roots that must find and gather all that water. Out at the very ends of the tips, the roots are covered in countless tiny, delicate hairs. These root hairs are far too small to see with the naked eye, but there are millions upon millions of them on a single plant. Together, all those tiny hairs create an enormous surface for soaking up water from the soil. They draw moisture out of the soil, drop by precious drop. And the amount of water they move is truly astonishing. A single large leafy tree can lift hundreds of gallons of water in just one single day, all of it pulled silently and steadily upward from the deep roots to the very highest leaves. Along with that water travel the minerals the plant needs to live. The roots gather them from the soil and send them up the stem. It is a vast, quiet pumping station running every hour of every day, and it never once stops, not for a single moment, for as long as the plant lives. Without this constant work, the whole plant would quickly wilt and fail. So the next time you water your garden, remember where it goes. Down to the roots, the thirsty mouths of every plant you grow.
Drinking deeply from the soil and carrying that precious life up to every single leaf above. If this hidden world is starting to amaze you as much as it amazes me, good. Take a quick moment right now and tap that like button for me. It truly helps these hidden garden secrets reach more curious people. The fourth secret is one we almost never stop to think about. Your roots are quietly holding the entire world in place. Look at a steep hillside that is covered in plants and trees. It stays firm, solid, and unmoved even through the very heaviest of pounding storms. Now picture that very same hillside but stripped completely bare. With the first hard rain, the naked soil begins to slide away. The difference between them is the hidden web of roots below. Deep underground, the roots spread out and grip the soil tightly, like 1,000 patient hands. They weave through the earth, binding the loose grains tightly together. They hold the soil firmly together against the endless pull of wind, rain, and gravity. A single tree can anchor an astonishing amount of ground in place. Its roots reach wide and deep, like cables tying it to the earth. This is exactly why a strong, healthy plant can stand firm against even a fierce, roaring gale. It is held down by a vast, unseen anchor spread beneath it. And it isn't only the great trees that do this important work. Even the humble grass on your lawn knits the topsoil together. Its countless fine roots form a dense woven mat that holds the whole surface firmly in place. Without all those roots, the living soil would simply wash away. Whole fields and hillsides would crumble and slide into the rivers. So your quiet, gentle plants are also the silent, faithful guardians of the very ground itself.
So they search, they drink, and they hold the very earth together. But this next secret is the strangest and most surprising of them all. Stay with me, because down there, your plants are quietly talking. The fifth secret sounds almost impossible, but it is completely real. Beneath the soil, your plants are constantly communicating, and they do it entirely through their roots, speaking in a silent language made of chemicals. A root is always leaking tiny substances out into the soil around it. These faint chemical messages drift slowly through the dark earth to other roots growing nearby, and those neighboring plants can actually read and respond to them. In this strange, quiet way, plants are constantly sending one another all kinds of signals. A plant under attack by pests can release a chemical warning, and nearby plants quietly sense it and quickly begin to prepare their own defenses too. It is a silent, invisible alarm passed quietly from root to root all through the dark soil. Plants also use these chemicals to compete for their space. Some release substances that gently discourage rivals from crowding in. It is a slow, silent chemical struggle for precious room, light, water, and food. But perhaps the most touching discovery of all is this. Many plants can actually recognize their own close relatives. When growing beside their own kin, they compete far more gently. They share the soil more kindly, instead of fighting for every inch. So beneath that still and silent garden, a quiet conversation flows. Warnings, rivalries, and even a strange, tender kind of family, all flowing between the roots. The sixth secret explains how your garden survives the winter. When the cold arrives, the world above ground seems to die away.
The leaves fall, the stems wither, and the flowers fade to nothing. It can truly look as though the plant itself has simply withered and gone for good. But for many plants, the truth is hidden safely underground. All through the long, warm summer, the leaves quietly gather energy from the bright sunlight, and the plant sends much of that precious energy down into its roots. There, deep below the reach of the frost, the roots store it all away like buried treasure. Think of the carrot, the beet, or the parsnip in the ground. Each one is really a swollen root, packed full of stored food. It is really a hidden pantry, one the plant has carefully filled up for the long, lean months. Through the freezing winter, the roots wait patiently in the dark, safe beneath the soil, holding all the life of the plant within them. Then, when the warmth of spring finally returns to the earth, the roots pour out their stored energy into fresh new growth. And so the plant rises up again, green and alive, seemingly returned from the dead. It was never truly gone, it was simply waiting down in its roots. So the part of the plant that endures is the part you never see, the quiet, patient root below, faithfully holding the whole promise of another spring within it. The seventh secret reveals something surprising about your roots. Just like you and me, the roots of a plant need to breathe. It's surprisingly easy to forget, but roots truly require fresh air down there to stay alive. They take in oxygen straight from the soil all around them, and they need a steady supply of that oxygen to do all their endless work down there. This is exactly why healthy soil is full of tiny pockets of air. All those little spaces between the soil grains are what let the roots breathe freely down there.
It is also why loose, crumbly soil grows such strong, happy plants. There is plenty of room in it for both air and water to flow. But now picture a soil that has been packed down hard and tight. All those precious air spaces are crushed and squeezed away, and the poor roots trapped beneath it slowly begin to suffocate in the airless dark. This is one of the main reasons compacted soil harms your plants. It isn't only too hard for the roots to push through and grow, it also leaves them quietly gasping in the dark, unable to find the air that they need. The same thing happens when soil stays flooded and waterlogged. The water fills every space, and the drowning roots cannot breathe. So your roots need air just as much as they need water and food. Keep your soil loose, open, and alive, and they will breathe with ease. It is one more quiet reason to care gently for your living soil. Loosen it gently, feed it kindly, and let the whole hidden world below draw an easy breath. We've uncovered 7 hidden wonders happening beneath your feet, but the final secret is the one that pulls the whole picture together, and it changes the way you'll stand in your own garden forever. Here is the 8th and most wonderful secret of them all. Stand quietly in your garden for just a moment and look around. Everything above the ground appears so perfectly calm, so completely still, so utterly silent. But you now know that this stillness is only an illusion. But beneath your very feet lies a whole hidden world, one that is fully and wildly alive. In the dark, countless roots are searching ceaselessly for water. Others are drinking deeply from the soil and pumping all that water up toward the light. Some are gripping the soil, holding the very ground in place.
Others are whispering chemical messages quietly back and forth, and still others are guarding their stored treasure for the winter. And all of it is happening down there in total darkness and in complete, unbroken silence. An entire living world woven invisibly beneath your quiet lawn. It never once sleeps, it never truly rests, and it never, ever truly stops down there. And it has been there all along, the whole time beneath your feet. Through every season you've gardened, this world was working below, quietly holding your plants up, feeding them, and keeping every one of them alive. The peaceful garden you love is only the surface of something vast. It is the visible tip of a deep, restless, living foundation. So the next time you stand among your quiet plants, remember, you are quietly standing on the very roof of an enormous, busy, hidden world. A world of searching, drinking, holding, and silent conversation, working tirelessly down in the dark, holding your whole beautiful garden together, asking for nothing more than loose, living soil and a little water. That hidden half is the secret heart of everything you grow, and that, in the end, is what your garden has been quietly trying to tell you all along. So the next time your garden looks calm and still and quiet, take a moment to picture the busy world working beneath it. Remember the roots down there searching, drinking, holding the earth, and quietly talking. And care for the soil that lets that hidden world thrive. Keep it loose, open, and living, and that secret hidden half will reward you richly in return. If this changed the way you see your garden, subscribe to What the Garden Knows. Every single week, we learn to read one more secret,
hidden in plain sight.
And if you love the creatures that visit your garden, check out Backyard Wildlife Mind. It's where we explore all the wild lives unfolding right outside your window. Thank you so much for listening, and remember, your garden is always speaking.